The White House continues to defend the 31st Amendment.
The president commented that this was, quote, a necessary move towards economic recovery.
If you make it through the program, you're guaranteed for life.
Citizens 92 to 99, move.
This is genocide. It's about money.
Nothing we can do is going to make any difference.
You'll be dropped in the zone this time tomorrow. From now on, everyone's your enemy.
I won't play their games. You shouldn't either.
Decision time. Maybe you could make a difference.
Thank you for joining us on the Downey Cut. My next guest's diverse background spans acting, fitness, and even performing as an aerobatic wing walker across Europe. As a founder of Blue Egg Films, she has earned an acclaim for her script writing and directing with films like Hold My Hair, Cirrhosis, making waves at festivals. Please welcome Rachel Taggart. How are you, Rachel?
Hi. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on to the Downing Cut. I got to tell you, I saw Cirrhosis at the West Sound Film Festival, I believe it was.
Oh.
I think it was at West Sound. It was either West Sound or Seattle. Those are the only two I went to this last year.
Oh, it might have been Seattle Film Summit.
Yeah,
Maybe?
Seattle Film Summit. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Daniel. Oh man, I just lost his name.
Christensen.
Yes. I got to ask you something. Was that his wig? Did he bring that wig?
He did not.
Okay.
But he did wear it in a previous film.
Yes, I was in that film.
Oh.
That's why when I saw him in your film, I was like, oh man, he got typecasted as a clown.
It was so funny. I felt so bad for him because when I called him on the Friday night, I said, yeah, I'm really sorry. We got clown film and you're going to play a clown again. And he was like, it's fine. It's fine. He's such a trooper.
It cracked me up when I saw him. I was like, wait a minute. Is that Daniel? Again? Yes. I described because he was in my film. We did a 48 hour together, and that's how I met him, called Poolside. And then I put him in Cousin. And then I saw him in your film, and I was like, oh, he's playing a clown again?
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, it has, because it looked like the same hair that what he had before.
And
it
he
was
played
so funny.
Such a great creepy clown.
He is a great actor.
He is really good.
Like he is like by far one of the best that I've seen.
Yeah. I had to promise him that we would work together again another time, and not only would he not play a clown, but that I would actually direct him because he just played.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm thinking of doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're brilliant.
Yep.
Literally, I did not direct the guy at all.
Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, that's when I found somebody, he plays a victim in my film. And the first thing I wanted to go against stereotypes, they'd be like, why don't you just get a young girl? I'm like, no, we got to go someone a little bit older. Let's do a man and let's make it. And he just brought so much to the character. I mean, it was awesome. But this is not about him. It's about you. So, Rachel, tell me, how did your journey start? How did you get into the film industry?
Yeah, well, I was an actress in England for 16 years, and my family is in the business. So I kind of grew up
Well,
in the
that's
industry.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so when we moved out here, I stopped acting and went into the fitness industry. Um, and mostly because we had two small children, and I wanted to focus on making sure that they were okay and that their family was settled and all that good stuff. Um, and then in 2019, the beginning of 2019, decided to go back to acting again, which was great. Um,
Yeah.
I went through that moment of saying, oh, I haven't done this for 12 years. I joke that it was my 12-year sabbatical. Um, and I, I was like, oh, can I actually still act? And then was able to get jobs and things like that, and took some more training. And so I was like, okay, I can still act. And
Yeah.
then during the pandemic, I co-produced a short film called The 31st Amendment, and that kind of turned me on to producing. And so it
Interesting.
just kind of blossomed from there. Really, I started doing a bit of writing, and then directed my first short film, and yeah.
How did so you said your parents were into the film business.
Hmm.
How did that influence you? Because that definitely gives you a different perception than the rest of us, right? We get into it, but you've been around
Yeah.
it. You know the lingo. You know the atmosphere. What things did you pull from that, or how did? I mean, I don't even know what to ask because that's a totally different perspective than I'm aware of. How did that influence you into what you know today? Is there anything that you still pull from that experience?
Well, my dad worked in television, so
Okay.
and I would act in his. He did children's TV shows, and he
Oh
would
wow.
do like sketch comedy in the children's TV shows, and he would pull me in to to perform in them. But he did say to me, "You're not allowed to be a professional actress as a child."
Oh,
He wouldn't let me do it. He'd pull me in and use my skills for his stuff,
right.
but I wasn't allowed to actually. Yeah, so I think he was trying to protect me.
Okay.
Um, I think I just certainly felt a confidence in the industry, just knowing the different jobs that people do, and having, and not an understanding, but a respect for all of the different facets of the film industry and of television. Um, and that definitely is with me now. And my dad he passed away in 2020, but
Mm.
I know that I am not a religious person, and I'm not even that spiritual, to be honest. But I know that he is with me on this journey, and that
Yeah.
he is saying, "Atta girl, way to go with the creativity and the collaborations that I'm able to
Yeah.
facilitate." Mm,
That sounds spiritual to me. I mean, if you can feel it and you know it, I mean,
mm.
that's spiritual. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a true connection. And I think it's awesome. As a child, there are some kids who the parents' dream is to be an actor or an actress because I never had a chance. And a lot of kids don't want to do it because of that. Did you ever feel that way of like, no, I don't want to be in this one, or I'm not into
Oh,
this, or
so I say that I made my decision that I was going to be an actress when I was 12. That was when I
oh,
kind of made my formal declaration. But I
yeah.
knew I was going to be an actress when I was 6. Um, and that was because a local, I lived in Leeds in the north of England at the time. And my next door neighbor, her dad was a cameraman. And she got to be in this proper drama on television, and I was so jealous that. And I don't know if you know the joke, which is, how many actors does it take to change a light bulb?
No. What is
10.
it? Oh.
1 to change the light bulb, and 9 to say, I could have done it better.
That makes sense. Yes, yes.
And when I was 6, I watched this friend of mine, Kim Frazier from next door, in this role, and I was thinking, I could have done that. I could have done that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily better, but I definitely wanted to be in that role. And that was, I think, yeah, when I kind of knew. So I didn't ever feel um, that I didn't want to have the opportunity. I always took advantage of the opportunity.
Well, I think kudos to you for being a mom and putting it aside to focus on your kids, because I think a lot of people don't do that. The priorities are a little bit different. But for you to actually sacrifice that time and creativity, and did you write during that time or anything? Were you
No, I mean, and so I will say that we just moved out to the States, and so we were all in this time of, well, we were immigrants. We were in a time of uncertainty of who we were in this society, and there's
yeah.
even from England to the States, there is a culture shock. Um, so I just felt quite strongly that I should, you know, be the grounding person in the family. And I will say that I did not spend that whole 12 years at home. I became a national trainer for a global fitness company called Les Mills. And
Oh,
so I
wow.
traveled around the country, teaching people to be instructors. Um,
Wow.
and which was a wonderful job, and I went all over the States, so I
Yeah.
was leaving for weekends, you know, quite a number of times of the year, so I wasn't kind of being stuck at home.
Sure. How,
Being this altruistic mother who's
how did you get into that training?
yeah, well, when I was turning 40, and I had two children at that stage, and I was really into fitness. Um, and was turning 40, and I thought, what can I do that 20-year-olds do? I know, I'll teach group fitness. So I took the trainings, and then when I came over to the States, I was talent spotted to become a presenter and a trainer for this company. And so I then spent 8 years um, traveling. I've been to like 38 states or something ridiculous. Um, and then to Japan twice as well with them. So
That sounds like fun, I gotta
that was a
say.
lot of fun. Yeah,
I mean, that's part of, the reason why a lot of people want to act, is they want to travel and
right.
experience new things, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about this aerobatic wing walker. What
Yeah.
is that?
So I spent 3 summers in when I lived in England. I was 25 when I first did it, standing on top of a Boeing Stearman biplane while it's at air shows doing loops and rolls and spins and flicks and stall turns and yeah.
What, in the air?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you did your own stunts, but that's
Pretty much, pretty much. I I was
holy
actually I
smokes.
was on tour in Australia with a theatre company, a British theatre company, touring a show in Australia just before, and my dad called me because I had been taking clarinet lessons, and my dad called me and said, "Hey, Rachel, you've you've got an exam for your clarinet, and you've got the opportunity to do wing walking." Because a family friend was a pilot. And what I wanted to do was stand on top of the aeroplane, go around, do a circuit, and then land again. Um, and I wanted it so I could put it on my resume.
Oh yeah,
Because people, if they read your resume, then they see that, and then you're memorable. Um,
exactly.
and and he said, so you've got your clarinet exam, and then you've got this opportunity to do wing walking, but there's no, it's actually at air shows, and there's no opportunity to practice beforehand. You've got 4 air shows in 2 days, and if you don't like it after the first air show, then that's bad luck. You've still got to do the other 3. And I said to him, "Oh my gosh, um, that's so scary that I've got my clarinet exam. Oh my gosh, wing walking."
So you're
And
not afraid of heights or anything. It was just like,
yeah, I mean, it's the first time you do it, you do, as you're taking off, you do think this could go very horribly wrong. Um,
yeah.
but once you've caught some flies in your teeth, and once you've once you've done your barrel roll, you're you're kind of hooked.
That's it. You're done. Wow. What that's just an amazing story. I mean, I think you just have such a diverse perception on things, and I think that's huge, and I think that's very helpful. Let's go back to acting.
Mm.
I always ask everyone this question because you started young and you've written and directed and acted as well. What qualities or skills do you believe set an exceptional actor apart from the rest?
That is a great question. I think for me, it would be being curious and having a curiosity mindset, having this mindset of collaboration and exploration and discovery, and not kind of going into a character or a scene or a film or a play with one specific idea in mind,
Mhm.
but being open to the feedback of the director and of the actors who you are also collaborating with, and with whatever happens on the day.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Did you take any acting classes as a child? Okay, you did.
Not as a child, but I
No.
went to drama school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did a
Yeah.
3-year conservatory drama school in Australia, funnily enough. Um,
Oh, fun.
yeah, I went to the
Yeah.
Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts, which also happens to be where Hugh Jackman went a few years later.
Well,
So
that's fascinating.
there you go.
I interviewed someone from Australia.
Huh.
Her name's Jessica Toe, T-O, and she went, I can't remember if it was a film school, but maybe you guys may have crossed paths or something. I
Ah,
don't know. She's in Vancouver right now.
wow.
Yeah, small world.
Mhm,
What? How has your experience as an actress in all the past things that you've done
mhm.
influenced your approach to directing and working with actors on set?
Mm. I love that question. So I will say to people that I have two superpowers as a director. And my first superpower is that I am really good at bringing people into a set, um, and brilliant people who know what they're doing, and then trusting them to do their job. I am so good at that. At really knowing when somebody's got the skill set and the talent and the eye and the collaborative spirit. And
Hmm.
so I just shot a short film called Souvenirs and worked with a DP. Um, his name is Ryan Purcell. And I had ideas about shots and we discussed shots. And then when we were on the set, he came to the set with ideas that I would never have thought of. And had I had a closed, I know best mindset, then we wouldn't have got these brilliant, beautiful shots. So
Wow.
that's my first superpower. My second superpower as a director is being able to talk to actors. And I think it's because I understand acting and the processes that actors go through in order to be ready on set. And so for me, I want to be the director who I would like to be directed by.
Yeah.
And so I don't line read actors. I just don't.
Hmm.
Because if they're not understanding uh, some feedback or a note, then it's my job to find another way to be able to explore that with them without just telling them. Otherwise, I might as well play the role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I think I'm good at being able to talk to actors on a level that they get.
Would you? I've heard this before, where some people recommend directors who've never acted
Mm.
to at least take an acting class. Would you
Yes.
recommend that?
Oh, absolutely. I think being a director who has never acted would be like teaching somebody to bake a cake and you've never baked a cake before,
Yeah.
or decorate a cake. And how can you really understand which ingredients need to go in when, and how to create this beautiful fluffy sponge if you've never actually done it?
Yeah. Yeah. What inspired you to transition from performing to producing and directing? And how has that shift challenged you creatively?
Mm. Well, I think in 2020, I made this short film that I co-produced, and I acted in it. I didn't direct it. Um, and after that, I kind of thought, well, I could start my own company, and then I don't have to wait for people to give me permission to act. I can just write stuff for me. And ironically, I haven't actually given myself a role yet. um, but the transition into, and I will say, I don't really consider myself a writer. Um, I've pretty much made the decision that I don't want to write my films that I make. Um,
Why
I
is that?
well, I'm not very good,
Okay.
and I don't want to put in the hard work to become an excellent screenwriter. That's not where my passion is.
Mhm.
And so again, it's about bringing on the right people, isn't it? Why don't I work with writers who have those skills and that passion and the knowledge and the background and the training? Work with them and have them write the script. Um, and then I can work collaboratively with them to realize it to the level that I would like to produce and direct the film. And I will say, for the 48-hour film projects, I do co-write those. So I'm quite good at writing when I have a collaborative partner.
Sure.
Um,
You bounce ideas off of.
yeah. And, the last one that I did, in fact, my co-writer, Anna Maria Gerzan, pretty much wrote the whole thing. I mean, she was fantastic, and she just put in a whole bunch of stuff. And every now and then I'd go, oh, and type something in. She, oh yeah, okay. But I'm co-writing the feature film of Psychosis at the moment.
Oh, you're doing a feature.
We are writing it as a feature.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
we're about 85 pages in now.
Wow.
Yeah. And so myself and Sean Scurran um, meet once a week on Zoom,
Yeah.
and we both have write a duet up, and I'll type a whole bunch of stuff, and then he'll take over and type a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'll write
Nice.
some more, and then he'll go in there and change a couple of words, and then we'll one.
So let me ask you this: when the perception of collaborating with other writers, you as the director, because now you have two different perceptions.
Mm,
Then you have a cinematographer. How do you collaborate between all three roles, and how do you? Because there's been kind of a kind of stereotypical nuance of writers will write something, they send it to the director changes a bunch of things, or to make it fit a certain way.
mhm.
Um, how do you avoid that, or is that part of the process, or what's that whole workflow look like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel so. Souvenirs, that I just produced and directed, um, was written by Mark Sawyer, who's a local writer, and I came up with the idea. I went to him with the idea and said, "This is what I'd like to do," and he went away and wrote it, and
That's nice.
it was wonderful.
That's awesome.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, and then from that we collaborated. So the film is it's his writing, and I had a lot of specific nuances that I wanted to make sure were in the film.
Okay. Are you do you normally do that process then with writers?
Well, it was the first time working with a writer that I
Okay.
haven't co-written, or so it was
Oh,
a
okay.
new process. And in fact, I've just been I'm directing a short film in March of next year called The Stranger, which is a mystery film, and was written and is being produced by Ronald L. Canfield and his production company. And so I'm essentially just a director for hire on that.
Nice.
Yeah, very exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it's very cool. It's kind of the dream. It was kind of being asked by another production company to work on their film was is brilliant. So
Yeah.
cool. And I have gone back to him with some changes in the script, and he has been very open to that feedback. And my feeling is, and he's pushed back on some things as well, which is
Okay.
great. And that again
Yeah.
is part of the collaboration. And I think that's how I find out who is, how's this relationship going to go? And we actually had lunch a couple of weeks ago and talked about the script, and before we both committed to it, and he emailed me afterwards. The subject line was a meeting of the minds, and I thought, yeah, that's good, because
Yeah.
I know that I can say something to you and you'll take the feedback, and then you'll either come back and go, I'm really going to dig my heels in on this,
Yeah.
or, oh yeah, that's a good idea. um,
Hmm.
and that's the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to be like Hitchcock and maybe do a little cameo in your own films or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I'm actually going to play a small role in this film.
Okay.
So for the
Nice.
first time, I am going to act in a film um, that I'm directing. But my feeling is not necessarily. I think if the role is right, I mean,
Hmm.
the role in this one um, is an agent, like a field agent, and it's like that's my sweet spot, to play the boss, to play the.
The director.
Yeah, to play the hard ass kind of.
When you're in front of the camera, who's directing you?
Well, it'll be my first time doing it,
Oh, okay.
so uh, I probably will um, rely on watching some playback,
Hmm.
and I also work with fantastic ADs um, who have ideas, and I trust that.
Yeah.
Um, and so if my AD says, that was terrible, do it again, you know, I trust that they've got my back and they're not going to let me make a fool of myself.
That's great. Can you share a moment from your career that significantly shaped your storytelling style or perspective?
Hmm. Well, it's probably, hmm. Well, my first two films were both coming of age stories. And so they
Okay.
were both very much written from my perspective as a mom.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
this next story that I've just shot, Souvenirs, I shot that, and it's a police procedural, essentially. Um, and when we had finished it, I kind of said to myself, if I could only ever film in one genre for the rest of my life, I think it would be this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what genre is that? Is it a
Well,
thriller
it's
or is
kind
it
of
drama?
pop crime.
Crime.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of into serial killers. Uh,
Yes. Okay. I'm with you on it though. I did, Cousin is a crime thriller and I had truly enjoyed the suspense of it.
mm,
Um, but I think a lot of people are drawn to that. I mean, there's always horror. A lot of people are drawn to horror, but I feel like thrillers, just there's something about that just kind of gets you all excited and riled up and you're like
yeah,
trying to solve something and yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
exactly. there's a sort of an intrigue, and I like. I mean, in Souvenirs, there's three kind of big moments, three big turns in the film,
Yeah.
twists that when and only a few people have watched it, but
Oh,
when
it's in post right now then?
it's in post, yeah,
Is it a short or
yeah,
a feature? Okay.
yeah, it's a short, yeah.
Well, I'm
I have not
excited.
ventured into the feature yet.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got, you know, I'm still getting my feet wet. I'm a baby director still.
As I am. What how do you balance artistic vision and logistical demands of producing while staying true to your creative vision?
Uh, Again, collaboration. So I haven't worked on a single film, or maybe my first one. It was a tiny 5 minute short film, but I work with other producers, to be honest, and not use other people's skills, but bring people in who have skills that enable me to be able to focus on the big picture.
Yeah.
So on Souvenirs, I worked with Sandra Scragg, who was my casting director, who then came on and said, "Oh, yeah, I'll do payroll for you and contracts," and then ended up, and she now has a full producer credit, and she ended up not only doing those things, but getting the permits that we needed for the filming and, just coordinating a whole bunch of stuff that
Yeah.
enabled me to not be pulling my hair out in panic, um, and to be able to bring the team on and make sure all of those moving parts were in place and make sure that the locations were the right place for us to film and go and do scouts and all of those sort of things. So it's about not being so proud and arrogant that you think you can and should do everything.
Yeah.
Not that people who do everything are. It's about,
Are proud and arrogant.
well, it's not. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that. It's that I understand what my skill sets are, and I can do all of those other things. I could have done all of those things that Sandra did, but I would have needed another 6 weeks
Yeah.
in order to be able to do it, and that wasn't the time that we had, and so I don't need to do everything. I edited Hold My Hair, which was one of my shorts, and I can do it, but do I love it? No. So what? Well, why do I would rather pay somebody else to do it who
Yeah.
does love doing it and
Hmm.
who can bring the eye, um, it's having a different eye on it. If it's only my eye, then the film never changes. But when you bring in other people, then you're inviting in creativity.
That's fascinating to me because I mean, just like I was talking about the writer, you have the cinematographer, and then you have the director, you. But if you bring in an editor, I mean, the movie can completely change in
Yeah.
editing. How do you manage that?
Um, having a curious mindset. So I edited Hold My Hair, and I sent it to my brother, who's a film editor,
Hmm. That's
and
yeah,
yeah,
family. It's in the
it's in
family.
the family. And he actually does a lot of work. He lives in England. He works on a lot of his main bread and butter is natural history.
Oh, awesome.
And so he is, while they have a story with natural history, he is used to going through hours and hours and hours and hundreds of hours of footage of where there's a camera on an animal and they're waiting for it to do something. And he has to find that moment. And then,
Oh my gosh.
so it's very different from the structure of film. But so I sent
Yeah.
Hold My Hair to my brother Jimmy. Shout out to James Taggart. He watched it and he said, "Oh, how about you do this?" at the beginning of the film. And so the beginning of the film is these two girls, they are going into high school and they're putting away American Girl dolls. They're putting away childhood. And it's like, I am not going to go into high school and have these American Girl dolls out. And then they go downstairs, say goodbye to the parents
I
who are
saw
going
that
out for
film.
dinner. Right. And
Mhm.
then we cut in as the parents are leaving and saying, don't make too much noise. We cut to them bouncing on a bed, singing really loudly with music and hairbrushes.
Yeah.
And, behave. And we cut to them, throwing goldfish to each other. And, and he came up with that. And,
Interesting. But
if
okay, let me pause you right there because you filmed it.
yeah,
The scene was filmed,
yeah,
but the way it was placed was from your brother. How
yeah.
did you envision that, or were you just here's the footage, do something?
No, I cut it. And then
Okay.
he watched it. And then he said, why don't you try this?
Okay.
And I went,
Okay.
oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Thanks.
Oh,
And did it.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All
And so,
right.
he's an editor. So he always says the film is made 3 times. Once when it's written, once when it's shot, and once when it's edited.
Yes.
And when I sent him Souvenirs, because he edited Souvenirs,
Okay.
so we got to work with each other, which was very cool.
See, I
Um,
feel like you're kind of cheating
I
amongst all
know,
of us
I know,
because
I know.
you already have that in the family. Is someone you trust, is someone you know,
Right.
someone who's a professional, already does
Yeah.
the work. What? How did you find? Like I know Sandra, and what is your recommendation with people who are looking for crew producers? How do you build that trust? How do you build that relationship? Because there's always been kind of some circumstances where people will grab onto people and go, "Oh, I'll never work with them again." But how do you
Yeah.
filter? Like, how do you find that ground and I guess collaboration? Really?
Yeah. Well, and I think there are also people who say, "Oh, I've found my crew and the cast that I like to work with, and I'll only work with them."
Yeah.
Um, and I try not to do that. So I do like to work with people again. Um, what was the question?
Like,
How do
how
you
do you?
find them?
Yeah, how do you find people?
Well, I think it's about creating relationships. Um, and I do the 48-hour film projects. And the reason I do them, and I say this to everybody who comes onto my team, I do these so that I can get better as a director. And as a part of this, I am auditioning you all, whether you're a crew or cast, to see whether I would want to work with you as a professional. And you are auditioning me to see if you would want to work with me as a professional.
Okay.
And so I love the 48 for that, because I will work with someone and they will be a PA in the first one, and it will come out in conversation that they really want to be a production designer. And so next time I bring them on and say, okay, you're going to do set dressing. And so I'm all about trying to help elevate
Yep.
people, and bring people along on the journey. And so, that's about relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
so if someone is a nightmare to work with, it doesn't matter if they are the best in the business. I personally won't choose um, to work with them again.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I'm sure there are other people who will, and that's great. And it might be that we just don't vibe, and that's okay as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Yep.
think again, it's about, when I did Hold My Hair, it was shot in Portland and we used an almost all female crew. And that was very mindfully done. And it was also, I didn't pay anyone. Um, but what I did do is I spoke to each of the crew members who I was asking to come on board and said to them, what I want to do is create opportunity. And so the woman who was my gaffer doesn't normally get to be a gaffer. But on this film, she got to be a gaffer, and she created beautiful light. She did such a phenomenal job. And that's given her something.
Yeah.
My AD who worked on that, in fact, we need to not say this because she's a part of the Directors Guild. So I had to not credit her as AD.
Okay. No names.
Yeah. But so I've also asked, I had 2 people on Souvenirs who worked on Hold My Hair, and I was paying this time. So I brought them up from Portland because I really wanted to work with them again. And that
Mhm.
was the other thing. After I had worked with this phenomenal 20-person crew on Hold My Hair, who
Wow.
all did it for nothing, and the actors,
Yeah.
I made a decision that I wasn't going to ask people to work for free.
Yeah.
And
I still have to get there. I haven't gotten there yet.
I know. And I will tell you, I am very, very fortunate. I have a husband who has a full-time job, and he supports this endeavor that we're both doing. He's my colorist.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Does he do
he,
that for work too?
no,
He just
he,
learned?
he is a former designer,
Okay.
and he runs an art department at Microsoft.
Nice.
And he's a creative technician. And so for him, the challenge of learning to be a colorist, and he learned from a guy in Portland who's a colorist. So he
Very
had
cool.
kind of a master class in coloring, and
Yeah.
he does a whole bunch of YouTube University. Um, and DaVinci Resolve has classes and
Yeah.
tutorials I mean, it's fantastic. So he just pours over those.
Yeah.
And so he is involved in Blue Egg Films very, very much.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
and I'm very lucky that I was working with uh, a career strategist and mentor who lives in LA, and she had said to me at the beginning of this year, what we need to do is really work to elevate your screenwriting. And that was when I went away and I went, I don't want to be a writer. I don't want to work on elevating that. So I
Right.
went to her and said, how about I get somebody else to do that? And she was like, great idea. Great. Let's work. So for directing, in order to reach the next level, this is what you need to do in
Mhm.
her opinion. Her strategy was you need to make your next film with a proper budget. And it needs to look really expensive. And then you get it into elevated film festivals, and then showrunners who go to those elevated film festivals see your film, and then they meet you and they say, oh wow, you directed that. Okay, yeah, I'll take your card. And then who knows what happens. But
Yeah.
that being the idea. And so I kind of, again, I had the idea that I was going to make um 248s per year and 2 of my own films per year. And now I'm of the mind that, well, we've done, Souvenirs, which had a significant budget for certainly for this tiny market that we're in.
Yeah.
Um, so it's probably going to be every 2 years that I do one as big as that.
Right.
Because it was a chunk of change. So, but it looks really expensive, and it looks
That's the key. I had my mentor, who's also a director.
ah
That was one of his tips. Was you got to match Hollywood, no matter
right.
how you do it. Yep.
Yeah, I got some feedback from a good friend about the film. I sent it to him and said, "Will you watch it and give me your feedback?" And he said, I think this will really help elevate your directing career and as a producer. Um, it's a shame it kind of looks like a network television cop procedural, and I kind of went, "Yes, that's what I want it to look
Yeah.
like."
Yeah.
I
You did
wanted
it.
to look like an episode of The Good Wife or an episode of Law and Order or an episode of Criminal Minds. That's absolutely what I'm going for. So,
Yeah.
I was really, really delighted by that piece of constructive feedback.
You're like, that's what I was doing. That's
Yeah,
the point.
right.
Yeah. That's awesome. What themes or stories do you feel most compelled to explore in your films and why?
Well, I want to tell stories about women.
Mhm.
And I want to tell stories about women who are overcoming something or who are badasses or who are, becoming a badass through the adversity or are survivors who, for me, it's about women's stories. And also, I'm not interested in telling stories about 20 somethings. It's like there are already enough of those. But I'm a woman of a certain age, and I want to tell stories about other women of a certain age whose stories haven't been told necessarily. And also that whole kind of crime genre. Um, I have an idea for a television series that I won't kind of go into, but the person who I'm not interested in is the serial killer.
Mhm.
I don't want to tell his story. That's that's not the interesting story to me. He doesn't get a voice. Um, and so I'm interested in the story of the victim survivor. I'm interested in the story of the cop who is trying to do the right thing, but who is hitting all the roadblocks.
Yeah. The struggle,
Yeah, yeah.
obstacles. Yeah. So you navigate evolving representation of women and LGBTQ plus voices in the film industry, both on screen and behind the screens.
Mhm.
How do you navigate those arenas?
Well, I will say I always want the very best person to do the job. And if it happens to be a middle-aged white guy, then it'll be a middle-aged white guy. Especially if it means I have to bring someone up from LA or I have to, I want to try to be a company and an individual who, works with underrepresented people, who it's not just always the same people, either the same actors or the same voices that we're telling stories of, but that we're, that we're bringing in other ethnicities and other sizes of people and tall people and short people and fat people and thin, that not everyone looks like not everyone looks a certain way. So
Right.
if you've got the skill and I need the skill, why would I not choose to work with you? It's that thing of, if it's between one person and another person and this person gets all the work historically because of privilege or circumstance, and this person just needs you know some guidance to be able to get to that same places, then why would you not
Yeah.
give the opportunity where growth can be created or experience for someone? Because I'm brand new, it's not like I'm anybody, so
But you are somebody. What as a director, what strategies do you use to build trust with actors and foster authentic, nuanced performances?
well, I understanding the characters myself.
Mm.
And I think that, when Souvenirs was written and I was hemming and hawing for quite a while about whether I should play the the lead role. The thing that was my deciding
Interesting.
factor was I am not looking at this film from the perspective of this character. I am looking at this film from this perspective of all of the characters and the story, and that tells me that I need to direct it.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of working with actors, it's about, I think that there is an intrinsic trust because I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as actors meet me in the audition process, so in callbacks, I am speaking with them in the same way that I will direct them. So when I'm offering a note, then I offer it in a way in which they can listen. And then if they're listening and they don't take the note, then that's also an indicator of, and it might be, let's have another go at this. Let's have a second, attempt at this note. This is what I'm looking for. And actually, and as a group fitness instructor and a trainer, if something wasn't landing with someone, I never said, well, you're dumb because you don't get this.
Yeah.
Or, I never have the attitude of, why aren't you understanding this? I would have the attitude of, oh, the way I am saying this is not landing. So how can I find a different way to break through?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that kind of understanding of actors, and I think the audition process just helps people to feel a trust.
That you actually answered my next question, but I want to talk about, have you ever had anyone come in and audition, they nail it, you think, oh, they're great for the part, then you go on set and they're not great for the part?
I can't answer that question because that would be mean to answer that question.
Well, I mean, how do you maneuver that? How do you go through that?
I have never had somebody not be great.
Yeah.
I have seen performances afterwards that I've thought, oh, it just misses. But again, I'll usually think, dang, why couldn't I get that note through?
Okay.
And in fact, I have had somebody not be as as clued in, or as I think they just weren't. Let's not talk about this actually, because I think they'll know who they are if they hear this.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
I
move
don't want to
on.
talk about that.
What? Because I think as actors, when we walk away from performances, we're always thinking, "Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have done this."
Mm-hmm.
That's always in our minds. And I mean, even myself, when I've done a role, I walk away and I'm thinking, I can't change it now. I have to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And just kind of take off that skin, that layer of me,
Yeah.
and just kind of move forward. What kind of advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers who want to carve out a unique voice in the industry?
Mm. Tell stories that you care about, and don't be don't make the film that you think other people will like. Just make the film that you want to make, because there's plenty of time as you progress in your filmmaking career that you'll start to put those kind of barriers on yourself. So when you're starting out, just go and make a film. Just go and shoot it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to shoot something that isn't very good. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's like the 48 hour. I always say to my teams, we always have a team meeting. before the 48, and I will say to them, look, I have got two goals that I want for this film, and it's the same with all of my films. I want to make a crowd pleasing film, and I want us all to have fun doing it. That's it.
Simple.
And and if the film isn't awesome at the end, that's okay,
Yeah.
because we did it in a weekend.
Hmm.
If it's a film that I've just made that I've got a massive budget for, then I'm gonna pull some other things in to make sure it is the film that I want it to be. But
Oh, sure. We have more time too
exactly.
versus 48
Right.
hours.
Well, so it better be good.
Yeah. How long does it take you to do a short when it goes to pre-production to post? And just like souvenirs, how was that process? How long did that process take?
Yeah. Well, so it was written in about March of this year, and we
Okay.
shot in October.
Wow. Okay.
So we were doing a lot of rewrites. And then over the summer, I was working as a script supervisor on a feature film for 3 weeks
Nice.
until the
Wow.
middle of August, and that was when we went into serious pre-production.
Okay.
But before that, I had gathered my crew together, but we hadn't had any major communications or anything. It was just like, please, would you come and AD? Yes, I will.
Hmm.
Please, would you be my sound person? How much are you paying? Yes, I will. um, Nobody actually
Yeah.
said that. Um, but we had 6 full-on weeks of pre-production. Um,
Nice.
and then I didn't actually watch the film. I didn't watch the footage
Oh.
until I went to England. It, I needed some space from it.
Mm.
And before I went to England, I started to go through all the footage. And then I just thought, actually, Jimmy's going to get his hot, sweaty hands on this, and he's going to do magic. So I just need to let him do that magic and trust. I knew we had the film. I knew we had the footage. I knew it all sounded great.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I just needed some space from it.
Is Jimmy also doing the color, or is that
No,
your husband? Your
Jimmy,
husband's doing the
yeah,
color.
Jimmy's my brother, and
Okay.
he's editing. So
Yeah.
we're just almost picture locked on that now. And
Nice.
then my husband, John, will color it. Yeah.
Jimmy and John. Is Jimmy doing the sound design too?
No.
Oh.
So no, he's not doing that. He is just the editor. He's picture
Okay.
boy.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so no, we're working with someone else on the sound. Yeah.
So many different roles. That's
I
fascinating.
know, which is
Yeah.
why it's so
I mean,
expensive.
just like Hollywood.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But also
Yeah.
gives other opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, again, I could do the sound,
Hmm.
but why? You know, let somebody
Yeah.
else who's really good at it do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What role do you see independent films playing in the future of cinema, and how do you aim to contribute to that vision?
Well, apparently Netflix is taking short films and showing short films.
Again? I thought they had stopped.
Apparently. Oh,
Oh.
maybe they've stopped. But somebody just emailed me the other day and went, Netflix is going to be showing short films. So,
Oh. Well,
um,
that's news.
yeah, yeah. Can you ask me the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, what role do you see independent films playing in the future of
Mm.
cinema, and how do you aim to contribute to that vision?
Mm. Well, I think that indie film is always going to have a place. Um, and as long as there are film festivals and opportunities to screen films, um, and the willingness of people to do the work, to make them, then there will always be that place. And I would love Blue Egg Films to make a feature film at some point. Um, and I'm not really somebody who's particularly. I don't think I would. do the Indiegogo, you know, Spark and what's it called? Seed and Spark.
Mm,
You know, please give $5 to help me make this. It's just not my. It's just not my thing.
yeah.
So I need to try and secure funding.
Yeah.
um, and I've started practicing that. I kind of feel like, you know, I have a pitch deck for souvenirs, and I've submitted for grants, and you know, we've been successful in and got a grant from For Culture for it, and I have another grant that I'm hoping that we might get. You know,
That's
little
awesome.
bits here and there,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
It
I think
helps.
every time that you create a pitch deck, which I also had help with from somebody who's really good at doing pitch decks.
Hmm.
And every time you write about what your film is about and what the purpose of the film is and why are you telling this story, then you get better at that as you practice that. And so when I'm making another film and I'm going for grants, I'm going to be a little bit better at writing those grant applications. And then by the time I get to make a feature film, I'll be even better at writing. And maybe we'll get, you know, chunks of change from somebody or from organizations.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if our local funding organizations continue to support indie film, um, and create avenues for filmmakers like you and me to keep creating, then that's really important as well.
Yeah. So Rachel, you had said in the beginning of the interview, you decided to start directing instead of waiting around for someone to cast you.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to be in one of your films as a lead?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, there's a role for me in the Psychosis feature film, but it
Okay.
is not the lead.
Yeah.
And I don't kind of, as an actor, I don't need to be the lead.
Yeah.
Um, I think, and it's interesting when I saw um, that Anna Kendrick had directed herself in Woman of the Hour. I thought I had just directed Souvenirs, and I thought, how did she do that? And actually, she's a lead, and you know, the have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
it yet.
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's a lead and a pivotal character in it, but she is not in every scene. She
Mm.
is not, you know, her story is the main story, but it is not all of the story. So I think as a first time director for her, she wasn't having to carry the film.
Yeah.
Um, and I think so. You know, I probably won't play a leading role in a film
Hmm.
that I am directing. Um, because again, there are lots of other really good actresses out there. It doesn't have to be me. I can get another actress who's really good at what they do.
That's yeah. No, I had a similar situation where I worked with Philip Wheeler. We did a short uh, a few years ago in Wyoming. Great actor. I was like, we got to work together. So I waited to see if anything would come up, auditions, projects that we could connect with. Nothing came up. So I wrote a script and I was like, okay, you're going to be my lead. And I had a small role in it. And because of the nuances of being in front and wanting to be behind,
Right.
the next film, I decided I'm not going to be in it.
Mm.
That very reason. I'm like, I
Right.
want to focus on this side of it, you know, and make it to just kind of elevate it.
Yeah.
Um,
It is funny because
so,
I had a small part in the Mythos murders this summer, which I was script supervising.
oh yeah,
And so for a morning, I handed over my script supervisor hat and put on actress hat. And it was weird, actually.
yeah,
It was weird to suddenly go, oh, somebody else is over there doing my job. And I wonder if they're doing, you know, what are they writing down? But
yeah,
also I wanted to be able to, and I was able to for this character. It was one scene, and I got to really immerse myself for that morning, and it was lovely to be an actress for the day.
Yeah,
And just to have that chance to, oh, I can put on this character for a day. How lovely. Um,
it's a
but I
relief,
think I'll
huh?
be fine with that. And when I play this agent in The Stranger in next year, I'll be able to, it's one scene. I'll get to put on my acting chops again and do one scene, and then great, I can be the director again.
That's awesome. What is the best constructive criticism that you've received as a director?
Only make the film as long as it needs to be.
And who'd that come from? The producer?
Uh,
Editor?
it was another filmmaker. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he produces and directs. Yeah,
Nice.
and you know it, and I feel like there's a balance in that,
Yeah.
and that some people will cut and cut and cut, and you maybe lose a bit too much, um, and so you have to, you have to take that feedback and absorb it and understand where that counts and then where you want to have the patience.
Hmm. So have you done that, like taken a project and then looked at how long it was and then sent it back to the editor and say, okay, let's trim this off, let's trim that off? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. We had in the 31st Amendment that we shot in 2020, it ended up being like a 16-minute short film.
Hmm.
And we got the feedback that it was too long. And it took about, and I was a co-producer on that, and it took another probably 6 months to persuade the other producer we need to cut it. And when we cut it, it started getting into film festivals. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a judge on a film festival.
You are?
I am. I'm a judge for this little film festival in Cleveland called the Short Sweet Film Festival. And I've
Holy
watched
smokes.
probably 200 films.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a I'll bet that's a class on its own.
Huge. And there are many films that I watch that it's like, okay, this is a 15-minute film that should have been a 7-minute film.
Hmm.
And here's a 25-minute film that should have been a 12-minute film. And here's a 29-minute film that deserves every single second.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they kind of, I think that there's a common thought that the sweet spot is 10 to 12 minutes for a short film.
Yeah.
And Souvenirs is going to be 14 minutes. And I know that if I was being sensible, I would cut it down to 12, but I'm just not going to.
Yeah.
Because I think it's 14, including credits, 14 really good minutes.
That's all that matters.
And so, yeah, I think so. I think it, and you take the feedback and then you apply it where it really works.
Yeah. I did learn that on my film. It was supposed to be 15. It's 31. It was longer, and it did eliminate festivals for us.
Yeah.
And it was considered at one festival, it was considered a feature. And I'm like, it's not a feature.
Wow.
And then, so now moving forward, the story that I want to tell, then I'm like, okay, we got to start maneuvering and how to angle this in a different way. So,
Right. Does it advance the character or does it advance the story? And if it doesn't do either of those things, then what's it in there for?
right. And there was a scene that I did end up cutting that didn't advance the story and didn't advance the main lead, but it did advance the sequel.
No, great.
So that's why I put it in there. In the director's cut, it's in there. In the
Right.
festival cut, it's out. So
Perfect. And that's why we have director's cuts, isn't it? So
Yep.
that we can say, oh, these are all the bits that I really loved in this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
The director's cut is for us, isn't it, really?
It is. It's for her own gratitude.
Right. It's the one that we can make our family sit down and watch because they don't have any choice.
Yeah. What skill have you fallen back on when it comes to your film career? And it could be a skill that you've gained outside of acting, outside of directing.
Well, I think my training, being a trainer, and as a trainer, I learned how to give feedback and how to give feedback so that it would be heard and um, absorbed and then actioned.
Hmm.
Um, and so that skill is huge in being able to make someone feel safe. And I mean, I think it's probably obvious, I guess, but and the people will quite often, and I've worked with directors who will just say, "Don't do it like that. Do it like this," or "Don't do it like that. Um, Find another way to make it better." Um, you know,
It's like, okay, thanks.
yeah, Hello, right. Thank you so much. That's really
Yeah,
helpful. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Um,
yeah,
and we were always taught when giving feedback that you always find the one good thing that they've done. And sometimes when you're working with brand new fitness instructors, you have to really find the one good thing that they've done, um, because they're brand new. They've never done it before.
yeah.
Like, oh, well done, you got through the choreography. That's amazing. You
Yeah.
finished the track. It would have been really easy to give up, and you kept on going. That's amazing. Or, your technique is excellent in these places. And then the one thing you could do to improve is
Yeah.
layer in the coaching, or so finding the thing that the actor did that is really good, or that really resonates,
Yeah.
or that reads well on camera. Hey, you really understood your framing in that shot. So keep that understanding.
Hmm.
And now,
That's interesting. I think because what you spoke about kind of goes across all lines of business,
yeah,
communication, leadership. And I think, working in the corporate world, that's one of the things we talk about. We talk about
mm,
leadership feedback, providing that intrinsic motivation for them to do better, but also learning how to communicate and talk to their strengths
yeah,
and kind of elevate them to kind of push forward into
right,
figuring out what the weaknesses and stuff. So it's fascinating that you say that because it's just everywhere. I mean, it's
yeah,
something that everybody needs to learn
right,
how to do it, right? It's all
yeah.
about communication and feedback. If what genre would your life be if someone were to direct you in direct a film about you? Are you going to say crime?
um, well, I want to say it'd be really boring. I
Yeah.
think it would be a
I don't
comedy.
know. Being a wing, what a wing? Yeah. I mean,
True.
that's
I
pretty
think it
fascinating.
would be a comedy because um, I try and find. My husband is the funniest person I know,
That's
and
good.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I just think that we have fun together, and
Yeah.
so we try and find the silly or the funny. I like to reframe things into the positive, so that
Yes.
if something hits negatively, then how can I shift this so that my mentality doesn't get dragged down by this thing that happened? Or and that's not to say that I live in a world where I don't acknowledge any of the bad. Um, just that over time, it's a healthier way to live, I think. So
Yes. Absolutely. I agree with that. 100%. On the acting side, I want to ask you one question about your acting.
mhm.
What is the hardest character you ever had to play since you started acting?
Hmm. I'm just going to put my thinking face on.
Yeah.
Oh, the hardest character. That is such a hard question because they're all, I guess the most challenging at the time would have been in the 31st Amendment. And this film is about uh, it's set in 2025. It's meant to be in the future, and the world is, or the country is, suffering economically because of the strain that older people are putting on society.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so the 31st Amendment allows the president to basically summon 150 people aged 55 and older into an arena where they all die except for one. They go into battle, and there's one survivor, and the one survivor gets free healthcare and pension for life.
Gosh.
And the starting point for this film is, it was a film competition that my friend in England wrote it for, and the theme was escape. It was during COVID, and he said, the only thing we need to work out is, why are these two oldies going to be in this arena? Why isn't it some 25-year-old? And I said, well, did you hear what Dan Patrick said? And Dan Patrick was the then lieutenant governor of Texas. This is during the height of COVID. He went on Fox News and said, we need to open the country again. We need to get the economy going. And I'm sure that the senior citizens would sacrifice themselves for the benefit of the economy. And so that was kind of the jumping point of why having these, people in their 50s shooting other people. And so for me, the challenge about that role is that my character is walking around with a Glock and a Roni automatic rifle, and
Wow.
doing all of these kind of badass things. So for me, that time, it was like, oh, this is new. I've never done this kind of thing before, and I have to make it look like I'm actually shooting something, and
Where
So
can we see this movie?
it was good. Pardon me?
Where can we see this?
Well, it's actually just finished its festival run, so I need to
Okay.
I will be getting it up onto my YouTube
Yeah.
channel. Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait.
The trailer is up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Rachel? Anything that you're working on now in the near future? I know you said souvenirs. Other than that, anything else?
Yeah, so Souvenirs is in post, and I'm actually talking with it's about a woman a cop who is on the hunt for a notorious serial pedophile. And then something happens in the film that threatens to ruin the whole arrest and capture of this guy. And I'm working towards a collaboration and a partnership with a charity called PAVE, which is a survivor-led charity and a charity for survivors of sexual assault.
Nice.
And we're looking at collaborating at their events, where we'll show souvenirs, and then we'll have a Q&A afterwards. I'll tell my story, and then they can do outreach, and especially talking about how the arts can heal, whether it's poetry or dance or film or theatre, whatever. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch this space that collaboration all works out.
And the org's called PAVE?
PAVE, yeah.
PAVE.org?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm directing The Stranger, which is this mystery film.
Stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is when it comes from a director standpoint in the film industry, what's your favorite tech? Is there something that you love?
Well, it's an item. Am I
Hmm.
allowed to say that?
Yeah, yeah. Tell us.
Well, so my husband is also my occasional B camera operator.
Oh,
Um,
put him to work.
I know he is just like all over the shop. I'm like, you've got a good eye. You could do camera too. Surely you'd be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But so we've got a a stable arm,
yeah. A
and
stabilization.
yes,
What
it
is that? Like a
well,
Ronin?
it is. So you know how you have your easy rig.
Yep.
You put your stable arm onto the easy rig, and then you use your big. Is that called the Ronin? The
Yeah, the
kind
Ronin.
of
That.
wheel thing, yeah.
Yep.
And so it attaches. The stable arm attaches to the Ronin, and it makes your camera into a steady cam.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Have you worn it? Have you tried it?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
No,
That's awesome.
you don't want me literally behind the camera. Trust me.
I made my wife go behind the camera.
Oh,
We have a rig too,
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
she's the other half of the Downing duo.
Oh, that's wonderful. But
Yeah,
then that's good because we're both using our partners
that's
to
right.
be our camera ops.
I'll tell you a funny story before we move on. My wife, when I first met her, she's a photographer,
Oh,
and before I met her, I had bought a Canon just to try to learn photography. I took photography in high school, but it wasn't a DSLR. It was just the old-fashioned film stuff, and I could not figure out how that thing worked. I could, I didn't know what bokeh meant. I didn't know what the aperture meant. I had no idea what ISO meant.
yeah.
So I sold it. Sold it to a friend. Saw his pictures. Came out wonderful. He knew what he was doing for whatever reason. Met my wife as a photographer. Then I bought a camera, and she taught me. She taught me what all
Oh,
these things are. And so now, for a film, I'm the cinematographer now, so I know what I'm doing. So
that's
it's just
great.
kind of it's serendipity right there.
Do you use two cameras on your shoots, or do you use one?
Only one. Only
Mhm.
do one for now. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, small production.
Oh yeah, and we only used one for souvenirs.
Yeah.
Um, but for the 48s, we tend to use two,
Oh,
which is
that's awesome.
great because you just get
Yeah.
the shots so much more quicker. That's why my sets don't go on for so long. Huh.
Yeah. What cameras do you use?
We have got a Sony One and a Sony A7C, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we worked with a DP on another local guy on the latest 48 that we did, and he has a red. So we're using two different cameras, but again, John's coloring, so he can
There you go.
make it all match up, and yeah.
That's awesome. What are your thoughts on AI in the film industry?
Yeah, I think that I love Copilot. I use Copilot all the time to help me write
Mm-hmm.
log lines and
Yeah.
synopsis and things like that. I've got the story, and I just throw it in there and say, hey, help me write this into 3 paragraphs, and then it'll do that. And I'll go, I don't want this to sound so blah blah blah. I wrote a stinky letter to someone once, a stinky email. I was really annoyed about something,
Yeah.
and my husband, when he read it, because I always like pass these things through him first. He read it, and then he put it into Copilot and said, can you rewrite this so it doesn't sound so snarky? So Copilot's awesome for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want AI to write my script. I don't
Mm.
want to use an actor's likeness or voice in a film. That's just not cool. So I think we're learning, aren't we? We're learning what's ethical use of it, and
Mm-hmm.
um, how can we use it to assist, then I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's funny as well because my husband works a lot. A lot of his work is AI
Oh, sure.
focused.
Yeah.
And so we have kind of whole conversations about this, and he's got really smart ideas about it. Ones that I couldn't repeat now because I can't remember them, but they were really smart.
That's good enough. It's a good tool to use when it comes to stinky emails.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel Taggart, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
So people can reach me on, if they want my Blue Egg Films, I'm on Instagram, at Blue Egg Films. I'm on Facebook, with Blue Egg Films, and also BlueSky, which I think I've posted on once so far, but we're supporting BlueSky. So, and again,
Yeah.
Blue Egg Films, and then Rachel Taggart, on all of those social medias, Taggart.
Awesome. Well, we'll put everything in the show notes for you. Before I let you go, what is why Blue Egg? What's with the name Blue Egg? What does that mean?
Well, we have chickens.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm a chicken mama.
Yeah.
And we were trying to think of names for the company, and my creative husband came up with it. He said, "What about Blue Egg Films?" And we always try and get a chicken or egg or something chickeny as a little Easter egg in our films.
Oh, that's a good tip. Everyone's gonna have
Mhm.
to keep their eye out.
Mhm.
It's awesome. All right, Rachel, thank you so much for being on the Down and Cut. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been wonderful fun.